The Mermaid and the Prince. Once upon a time, a royal ship was lost in the middle of a great storm. King Rhanon and his crew tried their best to set themselves free, but their ship got stuck on a giant rock in the middle of the sea. Soon, the winds got stronger and the waters began to rise. The crew were in panic and started to say their last prayers.
Please help us in these times of distress. Free us from this mighty storm.
When upon the mighty waves, a mermaid appeared.
Oh, great king. I feel terribly sorry to see you in this situation. I can set you and your ship free.
King Rhanon's eyes shone bright with hope.
But in return, you must promise to give me your firstborn child.
King Rhanon had longed to hold his son, and now the thought of giving up his heir brought tears to his eyes. Seeing the panic-stricken faces of his crew, the king accepted the mermaid's bargain.
All right. I agree.
No sooner had he accepted that, a great wave carried the ship off the rock and into the open sea. Months later, the queen gave birth to a baby boy. King Rhanon had long forgotten about his promise to the mermaid.
Such a handsome child he is. I shall name him Prince Aaron.
Prince Aaron grew up to be a strong and handsome prince, and soon the memory of the promise returned to King Rhanon.
Our son is trained well enough. We must send him off into the wide world. It is foolish of us to keep him here in the palace because this is the first place the mermaid will come looking for him.
I agree with you. Prince Aaron was summoned, and they told him everything. He was overjoyed at the thought of traveling the world.
Father, I accept your wisdom and at once will prepare for my journey. Bless me.
He bade his parents farewell and left to start his journey. All day he walked through winding roads and little green forests, enjoying the company of squirrels and birds. But soon he was tired.
I feel so exhausted. I must find a place to rest and eat my supper.
As soon as he found a spot to lay his head, a thunderous roar was heard.
Ah!
The prince was terrified. Before him stood a beast with the head of a lion, the body of a bear, and the wings of a hummingbird.
What are you doing here, boy?
I am fleeing from the mermaid.
And I am looking for something to eat.
I have food. I can give you food.
Then give it to me. It is past my supper time, and I am very hungry.
Prince Aaron immediately drew from his bag some bread and fruits and gave it to the beast. The beast devoured the food in a single bite.
That was very, very tasty.
I'm glad it wasn't me.
You are funny. I shall reward you. Here, take a feather from my wings. With this in your pocket, whenever you desire, you can take the form of a mighty lion, a great bear, or a swift bird in an instant.
Prince Aaron thanked the beast for its gift and bid him farewell. As he was walking, he thought,
I wonder what it must feel like to be a lion.
In an instant, he transformed into a mighty lion. Seeing his great claws and his royal mane, he swished his tail in happiness.
Nice! I like being a lion. The king of the jungle!
Prince Aaron walked on for a while and then thought to himself,
I wonder what it must feel like to be a bear.
As soon as he said it, he transformed into a great big bear with a thick hide and fur.
Sweet! Beware, bees! I am coming to take all your honey.
Then, after a while, Prince Aaron thought to himself,
Being a bird must be so different from being a bear or a lion. I must try it out once.
Flying high up, free as a bird, the prince's joy knew no bounds. Soon he came upon a vast kingdom and decided to go there. He flew right to the palace and saw a bunch of people in the hall having food. There he changed back into his original form and walked over to hear the conversations taking place.
The king is tired looking for a groom for the princess. He lines up portraits of the most handsome princes in the world, but she doesn't like any of them. How is she going to give him an heir? If I was her, I would have married the first prince that would ask my hand for marriage. Oh, you wish!
The maids gossiped some more, but Prince Aaron had already stopped hearing them. He transformed into a bird to look for the princess. He flew up to the castle and looked for the princess's room through the windows. When he finally found it, he flew right in, and as he flew in, he transformed back into a man.
Oh, who are you?
Do not be afraid, princess. I will not harm you.
And the princess was not afraid anymore. Prince Aaron told her everything about himself.
Wow!
I know, right?
The princess smiled.
I like you. Tell you what, my father is going to war and shall leave his sword behind in my room. Any man who retrieves his sword for him shall have my hand in marriage. I want you to be the one.
And I will be the one. I will ride with the king to war.
I will wait for you.
Prince Aaron left and joined the ranks of the king's army. And just as the princess had foretold, 3 days later, they marched for war. They had left the city far behind when the king exclaimed that he had forgotten his sword. Many brought forth their own sword for the king, but he wouldn't take them.
I cannot be in battle with any other sword but my own. The first man to bring it to me from my daughter's room will not only have her as his wife, but will also rule my kingdom after me.
At this, many of the knights turned and rode back to the city. Amongst them was the wicked Red Knight, who was known to have treacherous means. As they were riding, a better plan struck Prince Aaron. He let the others pass him and then transformed into a lion and roared loudly. Hearing his mighty roars, the horses of the other knights went out of control, while Prince Aaron bounded on towards the castle. When he reached the castle, he transformed into a bird and flew straight into the princess's window.
I'm here for the sword, Your Grace.
Oh, Aaron, you did it. Here is my father's sword. Now, go win the war and come back to me.
As Your Highness demands. But remember, if I do not come back for any reason, know that I am trapped. Go to the seashore and sing your song so that your voice can guide me to you.
The princess nodded and gave him 1/2 of her royal ring. He kissed her hand and flew back out the window. After flying for quite some time, Prince Aaron was thirsty and decided to stop by a stream nearby. But unknown to him, the mermaid was floating nearby. As he knelt to sip, the mermaid caused the waves to snatch him up, and they both disappeared under the surface. After some time, the Red Knight, who was passing by the stream, decided to stop to drink water. He was delighted to see the sword on the bank.
Wow, looks like it's my lucky day.
He quickly gathered it up and rode back to the king and presented it to him. After the war, the king returned to his people, who welcomed him with joy and celebration. But when the princess saw that Prince Aaron was not among the ranks riding behind her father, her heart sank.
The Red Knight showed great bravery in battle and even retrieved my sword before it began. And, as promised, he shall wed my daughter tomorrow.
The whole courtroom erupted in celebration.
Yay! Way to go, Red Knight!
Everyone was happy except for the bride-to-be. Later that day, she went to the seashore and sang her heart out to the sea. Where are you, oh prince, where are you? Come back to me, oh prince, I miss you. My heart longs for you, oh prince, my heart longs for you. Deep under the waters, the mermaid had Prince Aaron on a bed of seaweeds. As she heard the princess's song, she exclaimed,
Listen how your lover is singing songs for you.
I can hear nothing.
Ah, but I can. We mermaids know of everything that goes on beyond the surface.
It's not possible. I don't believe you.
You don't believe that we mermaids can hear everything beyond the surface?
Nope. And I do not believe anyone is singing up there. You are only trying to strike a conversation with me.
Oh, I will prove it to you, you silly human.
So the mermaid took him a little closer to the surface.
Can you hear it now?
No, I hear nothing but the rushing of the water.
The mermaid took him higher still.
How about now?
No, I hear nothing but the crashing of waves.
So the mermaid took him to the very surface.
I am sure you can hear her now.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
At once, he wished himself to be a bird and escaped from the clutches of the mermaid.
No!
Prince Aaron flew with all his strength and towards his beloved. Seeing him, the princess stood up in joy.
Your love has brought me back.
I am so glad to have you back, my love. But we do not have much time. Let's hurry up to the palace. When they reached the palace, the princess announced, Father, this man here claims to be greater than the Red Knight. I think he has lost his mind.
Hey, that's a little harsh, don't you think?
Shh! Sire, I know you have gathered much magical knowledge. This man claims he can change into a lion. Why not show him how it's done? Now the Red Knight had never read a single book of magic, but believed he was better than anybody. He tried and made faces and cried. Oh my, that was painful to watch. Maybe a lion is too difficult. Why not try a bear? And again, the Red Knight tried, and again he failed. Maybe we are trying things too big. Why not we begin small and try to become a bird instead?
Actually,
Can you really turn into a lion? As soon as she said it, Prince Aaron changed himself into a lion and roared with all his might. All the people in the courtroom were shaken, but the king did not flinch. How about a bear? And voila, a bear stood in place of the lion.
And finally, a bird?
And in a flash, the giant bear turned into a tiny hummingbird. The king watched all this with great delight, for he realized what his daughter was up to.
Is this the man who fetched the sword?
Yes, he is! He is the man who came to my chambers, and only him will I marry. The princess told the king everything. On finding out that the Red Knight had lied to him, he had sent him to the dungeons. The very next moment, he announced the wedding of the two lovebirds, and everyone rejoiced once more. A new feast was held, and this time, the princess enjoyed it too.